What's happening, wrestling fans? This is Conrad Cushman from the Everything Pro Wrestling Podcast, and right now, you're listening to Wrestling Reverb Podcast on BrainbustaRadio.
Hey, yo, Josh, let me get a little bit of reverb. Yeah. J. Will. Yeah, I'm about that lifestyle. I talk green work, repping it all over. It's right on the t-shirt. Fan for a lifetime. Yeah, that's a long pass. Figure I would show some love right on the podcast. Turn this up loud and make sure you don't do nothing else. Cause if you're listening to us, then you're improving your health. My name is Jay Will. Welcome to the show, yeah. Wrestle, flow, yeah.
Hello everyone and welcome to a Money in the Bank edition of Wrestling Reverb on Brainbuster Radio. As always, I am Josh. Kevin, how you doing today?
Pretty good, pretty busy day, but I'm ready to talk some Money in the Bank now. Just got done watching SmackDown. Pretty good show.
Yeah, so we're recording this just after SmackDown this week. You of course hear this when you're listening to this. It is Friday. But yes, we are recording just after SmackDown while we're in the Wrestling Zone. Also, disclaimer, if anything changes between now and Money in the Bank, well, too bad. WWE like to change things or add things a lot, so too bad. But, okay. We're really not going to waste too much time today because I had a little bit of a Twitter live today and I've been, as you know, Kevin, I've been somewhat vocal about my stance on where I kind of am with wrestling at the moment. I'm a little bit just out of it. I think
you've been saying all along, man, and it's weird because you're the most positive guy I know when it comes to wrestling. So for you to be in this sort of lapsed state it's wild. It really shows that WWE is in a bad spot right now. Yeah,
and I guess so. Last week, if anyone isn't following me on social media or just isn't paying attention to what I'm tweeting. Basically, last week I listen, I'm always on the journey. I'm always just one for the ride. But kind of last week I just kind of let it out. I'm just honestly not very into, it's not just WWE. I think I'm a little bit sour on just the wrestling concept in general at the moment. I don't think it's a permanent thing. But for the first time in my whole entire fandom, I've never been this kind of just blah on it. However, this week has been a little bit different for me. I knew it would take me a few days just to kind of snap out of it or whatever. I don't think I'm out of it, but I think my problem with just how I'm feeling at the moment is that even when I am feeling blah, and like you said, I'm pretty positive when it comes to wrestling or WWE's product. I can take the good out of the situation. You know that, Kev, talking to me every single week. And I've heard that comment directed at me many times. In what you're saying is that if I'm saying it's pretty at the moment, we have a problem because I criticize, but I don't really get too down on it. But this week I've noticed that although the product I understand isn't great at the moment, I can still see that they're actively trying to make it better. And the problem I have now is not that I'm feeling on the product, it's more so the fact that people are not open to it getting better. Everyone says they want the best product possible, but they're not actually open to actually letting things hit them and actually, being open to let it be better. People are very like, it's bad, that's the end of the story. So I went on Twitter live today. I think you popped in for a little while, Kevin.
I did.
And basically what I want to just talk about, before we talk about Money in the Bank, I want to get your take on this, is that, do I have a legitimate argument here that people aren't open to let's just talk WWE at the moment, but people aren't open to having wrestling be better? They almost want it to suck, so then they have something to complain about. Because I see complaint after complaint after complaint. In every single storyline, someone has to be like, we don't want this person there. This person should be doing this. This matchup isn't right for us. This person's losing. It's just, the whole time I've been on, even before podcasting, just been interacting with wrestling fans, is I can usually take it with people just, I understand it comes with the territory. It's a con of being on social media, is that people will whinge. And people always want something to complain about. But is anything ever good enough for anybody? Because no matter what you do, no matter what they present in any wrestling promotion, something isn't right. And I don't know where my head is at the moment, but I'm pretty annoyed with just interacting with these people that just do not want anything good to happen. Am I wrong in saying that, or am I just in my own head here?
For every positive person out there, for every Josh Robinson, there's a negative Nancy. There is just someone out there who is watching Raw, watching SmackDown on a week-to-week basis, and no matter what WWE tries, they've tried some different things recently. Like you mentioned in your Twitter live video, the Mojo Rawley thing from Raw. They're trying different things. They're trying to think outside of the box. The Bray Wyatt stuff is also another good example of them thinking outside the box. But people don't seem to be, the people are clamoring for change, and then when it's presented at a very small sample size, but it's presented to them, they're a little wishy-washy. I think everyone's on board with the Bray Wyatt stuff, but I know a lot of people
for the
are like,
most
whoa.
part, there is still people going, this is dumb, we don't want this.
Yeah.
That's another thing I have a problem with. I talked about this in my Twitter live video. I'd love to get your take on this as well. The term, we don't want this. Who is we? I'm we. You're we. We're all we. Not everybody wants the same thing, I understand that, but we don't want this? That's so you don't want that. It's not what I want. Don't speak for anybody else. I know I'm getting a little bit ranty here, and I apologize for my aggression, but my God, the term, we don't want this, pisses me off greatly. You can go back through any of my tweets, and for the most part, I'm pretty good with saying I, not we. I speak for myself.
Yeah, and that's all we could do. We can't be so quick to generalize the WWE universe. We have to remember that there are people out there who disagree with our opinions.
Exactly.
And that our opinion is not gospel, it's not fact, it's just the way we think. And there's a lot of people out there that seem to have a misconception that when they don't want something, they are compelled to speak on behalf of the entire WWE universe or whatever wrestling promotion we may be talking about at the time. It's just not the way it goes. People don't get to talk for other people. I know we all have different opinions on things. I know me and you have different opinions on certain things. But I don't say, when you're talking about Mandy Rose and how great she is, I don't say she's not what we want. I might say she's not my cup of tea, but that doesn't mean I could speak for you. I could speak for, all of our Brainbuster brothers and sisters and say that, we don't like Mandy Rose because everyone has a different opinion.
Exactly. I just don't understand, again, you've heard me say this line so many times. Wrestling is subjective. And I keep drilling that because that is wrestling. Wrestling is subjective. We don't, not everyone's going to agree on the same point. It just doesn't happen. And I'm always open to hearing other people's opinions. I pride myself on that. I listen to everybody. But I'm not saying practice what I preach in the terms of, I like this person, so you have to. It's just my opinion. You're allowed to have an opinion, but speak for yourself. And speak from a place of openness. Everyone's so closed off. It's just, I don't know. I'm just feeling, like I said, I've 19 years I've been watching this wonderful, wacky world of wrestling, and I can't recall a time where I've been this just sour on so many aspects of it. And it is disappointing because I didn't think I'd ever get to this place. And again, I know that me personally, I know that this is just a little bit of a phase. There's some things coming up that I'm actually excited about, and I don't know, I haven't been able to get out of the post-WrestleMania stink. Usually after a couple of weeks, I'm out of it. This year, I'm just stuck in it. And just everything that's going on. It's just, I don't know. I'm still a big fan.
To be fair, I think WWE's stuck in the post-WrestleMania stink too, still.
Yeah, I get that. I see that as well. It's everywhere at the moment. It really is. But my problem is that because WWE is what I invest so much time into and what I love and what I want to be the best, because I know they can be the best, it is... I tried, like last week, I put out a tweet saying, hey, I need to get back involved in wrestling. People, give me some other stuff to watch, because I do kind of go outside of the WWE bubble, but I am very much a WWE fan. And I tried to watch other wrestling, and my problem is that WWE's product has soured me on everything. And that's a problem. I know when it's a problem. I don't know. Kevin, you listen to me go on about this. You've listened to me go on about this for the last few weeks, and just, I don't know. I hope to get out of it. I hope Money in the Bank gets me out of it. I hope Double or Nothing gets me out of it. I think it will. But it really is dire times at the moment, especially in WWE land. Money in the Bank has to deliver. It has no security blanket if it doesn't, because if this show isn't good, I think a lot of people are going to tap out. I really do. I honestly believe that.
And that's what makes putting Money in the Bank, moving it from July or June to May to being the post-WrestleMania pay-per-view, was such a good move on their part. Because if you threw like a Backlash or something that isn't guaranteed to deliver, I'd say Money in the Bank is almost guaranteed to deliver, because you have two really fun ladder matches, and it's just the whole show revolves around that. So you're left thinking, wow, that was a good show, because your main focus, unless something crazy happens elsewhere, but your main focus is on those ladder matches, and they're always good. I mean, generally speaking, it's hard to have a bad Money in the Bank ladder match because there's so much going on. But if they went with something else here, like I know it's been like Extreme Rules, which is another one that probably delivers usually, but if it was a Backlash or a Battleground or a Payback or whatever, I think that it would fail here, because like you said, people are not in on the product right now. This is a make or break stretch for the WWE. This show has to deliver. I do think it will.
I hope so. I genuinely hope so. I'll get back to, I have an opinion on ladder matches in a minute, but a couple of points I want to just quickly go over before we get to talking about Money in the Bank. Let's get this out of the way. The Saudi Arabia show has Goldberg and Taker announced, a 50-man battle royal announced, and Triple H versus WrestleMania. Triple H versus Randy Orton announced. Now, I don't want this to be a Josh rant show, and it's not going to be, but one more thing I'll say is that it's called WWE Super Showdown, and of course, I am going to have some issue with that.
Yeah, that's gotta really be a sore point for you, Mr. Australia.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't make me happy, just because of all the controversy surrounding that. Also, it doesn't make me happy because it's officially been announced that WWE are coming back to Australia this year, and it's just looking like live events. I ain't gonna go because it's not coming to where I live, and I mean, it's getting taped on a Monday night in Sydney. Who knows? Maybe WWE will bring Raw here. The doubts are highly. I think they'll tape Raw the week before. I'm in the States, but hey, it just rubs it in the fact that we aren't getting another stadium show, pay-per-view event this year, which I genuinely thought last year was going to be the first of a few, just because it was sold out and that. I've said my piece on that, but them calling this Super Showdown really just kind of... They didn't even call it Super Showdown 2. They just called it Super Showdown, or... I don't know. It just kind of makes me... I don't know. It just makes me think that WWE do generally care about money more than their fans sometimes. I don't know. It just is what it is.
It just feels lazy. Like, as much as we all hated the last Saudi Arabia show, Crown Jewel was like a very fitting name for a show for that sort of place. Super Showdown, again, it was the first of its kind. It wasn't that creative, but it was the first of its kind. Now you're just saying, screw it, let's just saddle that name on to another show instead of naming it something unique that'll really draw people's attention. People might get confused when they see Super Showdown. You know, they might be thinking more of the Melbourne show. And especially since I have a feeling that show is going to be better than anything the WWE puts out next month.
Well, Super Showdown, for people that aren't in Australia, Showdown is a reference to AFL, to football here in Australia. We have showdowns when it's like two of the same city going at each other in Aussie rules footy. That's what Showdown, that's what Super Showdown came from. They stated that when they came here. So now they're using it in Saudi Arabia, and I'm like, that was...
Makes sense.
I don't know. That's all I'm going to say on it, but I don't know. What's your opinion on the matches that have been announced? I mean, it's big money matches. I mean, I'm still going to watch the show more than likely, but Goldberg and Taker at this time, I mean, 10 years ago, yeah, I would have loved to probably seen it, but I don't know. It is a big money match. It has big names. I'm not mad at it. It's just more so, the sourness on the product at the moment resonates to that show, I think.
Here's the thing. Goldberg and Taker is going to get people's attention regardless of how old they are.
Yep.
Because it's a match we've never seen. So, in that regard, I'm a little excited for it. Do I think it's going to be good? No. I think it's going to be short. Hopefully it's short. I think Undertaker will probably win because he's already lost a couple times on pay-per-view recently. You know, he lost the Crown Jewel, lost that, whatever the last, I don't even know. But he lost the last, yeah.
He lost it.
Did.
Wait, no, did he lose to Triple H at Super Showdown? No.
I don't recall.
No, Triple H won. Triple H won, I think.
Okay.
I can't remember. That match was such a blur.
Taker lost there. He lost at Crown Jewel. I have a feeling it's tough because I have a feeling they're not going to want him to lose another big match like that. On the other hand, what's the point of bringing Goldberg back if he's not going to win? It's tough.
It's money. They're getting paid probably a lot of money for that show, which is fine. They're a business. They're business people. They want to make money. Triple H and Randy Orton, okay, that's fine.
Does absolutely nothing for me. It's a match we've seen plenty of times. Yep. I never was that big on it back in 2009. I'm not going to be in 2019.
Yeah, I'm the same. And then the 50-man Battle Royal. Let's just pray to God that it's not a Royal Rumble and just hope that it's a Battle Royal.
Yeah, I cannot sit through another 50-man Royal Rumble. That was so boring.
Oh my God, it was.
They call it the greatest Royal Rumble, and it was probably the worst.
It was so boring. I'm so glad that I'm not watching that show live at 3 a.m. when it airs here. I can skip through that fucking show if I want to.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend watching it live. I don't remember exactly what time it goes off live here. If it's a Friday,
it's midday, isn't it? Isn't it midday in the States?
Pretty sure the last one was midday.
Because it would be roughly around 3 or 4 in the morning here, and I ain't getting up for that.
Yeah,
I'd get up for like English shows, like in England. If they were putting on a live event in England, I'd probably get up. I love wrestling. I would do that. I ain't doing it for this show. But hey, whatever. It's still wrestling. I'm still going to try and enjoy as much as I can. But anyway, enough of salty Josh, because it's no fun. I like being fun, Josh. Let's talk about... First, let's quickly just say thank you for the wonderful response and all of the people that listened to last week's show with Mr. Chris Van Vliet. That was a fun dang chat. That was fun.
That was great.
I had just the best time talking with Chris, so big props to the fact that we actually got to do that. And of course, next week on Brainbuster Radio, it is All Elite Week, talking all things All Elite Wrestling in the lead up to Double or Nothing. Kev and I will do a nice, beautiful show on what we think is going to be the outcome of Double or Nothing and how AEW is going to impact the whole industry? Will it lead to some wrestling boom period? And, we'll talk about all that next Friday on Wrestling Reverb here on Brainbuster Radio. But anyway, without any further ado, in just a second, we're going to talk about Money in the Bank. We're just going to hear from one person here in our Brainbuster family. We'll be right back.
Hey guys, while Josh is gracing you with his gorgeous Aussie accent and Kevin is blowing your mind with Gratz Talk, just remember to start your week right every Monday by checking out the wise owl of professional wrestling, Omega Luke, right here on Brainbuster Radio.
Alright, we are back here on Wrestling Reverb, and let's get into Money in the Bank. We're not going to give you too many predictions, maybe just for our Money in the Bank ladder matches itself, but we're just going to kind of run through our thoughts on some of the matches that are taking place. The first thing I want to cross off the list here is something that was announced on SmackDown for the Money in the Bank kickoff. Daniel Bryan and Rowan will be defending their SmackDown Tag Team Championships against the Usos. Okay. The wild card rule. We've kind of said our bit on that. We won't say too much more on that. Oh, it does. It sucks.
It sucks.
But, a Raw tag team is going for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. Kevin, if you were Vincent Kennedy McMahon right now, and you had one task to do, why would it be end the fucking brand split? Why? Just end it. Just end the brand split. You're literally having a Raw tag team go for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. End it. Cease and desist. Goodbye. Let's just have a nice, good match. It'll be a fine match for the kickoff. It will be a good match, but I don't know. They're on Raw. Let them be on Raw. Or just end this fucking charade and let's just have good tag matches.
Yeah, I saw this take on Twitter and I did agree with it. I forget who said it, so I can't acknowledge them. But the wild card rule is literally just an excuse for Vince McMahon to have no continuity, no storylines. It's basically an excuse to not make sense. Yep. The Usos are in they're in the storyline with the Revival. They're in with these guys, with Bryan and Rowan now. They're just doing whatever comes to Vince's mind on a given day. That's what they're doing. That's why you see Sami Zayn in so many different situations. That's why you see, McIntyre and Corbin doing all sorts of different things. It just doesn't make sense. And yeah, at this point, I would much rather than just get rid of the brand split, cut some titles down, and just have both shows be enjoyable with, I understand the idea, which is that, anyone could show up anywhere. I get that idea, but when the only people that are showing up on both shows are, the same handful of people, then I'm not going to care. It's not really anyone could show up anywhere. They're never going to send someone I don't know. They're not going to send Rey Mysterio back to SmackDown, I don't think. They're not going to send Rollins over to SmackDown anytime soon, I don't believe.
Well, you wouldn't think so, but who knows. Nonetheless, I actually do genuinely think, like I said, this will be a really good match. They had a good match a couple weeks ago on SmackDown. It's just I don't know. I don't really see...
And the exchanges in tonight's 4-on-3 match were fun, too.
Exactly.
And this is a relatively new matchup, which I think we all wanted for the SmackDown Tag Division for the longest time. I think we were all waiting for fresher matchups because it was just the Usos, the New Day, and the Bar for so long. It's just how much suspense could there be over the SmackDown tag titles if one of the teams competing for them is a Raw tag team? They're not going to put the belts on the Usos.
Well, who knows? Wild card rule. But it'll be fine. There's no Raw tag team title match at Money in the Bank from what I can think of. Wait.
No, they don't care. They don't care about Ryder and Hawkins.
I was just about to literally ask you who the Raw tag team champions were.
I almost said the Revival, but
yeah,
nope. They're too busy with the Uzi hot down their pants.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. I didn't even know what to say about that one. Let's focus on something that a lot of people have opinions on, and that's the 2 women's championship matches. Becky defends the SmackDown women's title against Charlotte, and the Raw women's title against Lacey Evans. My Twitter live video was, a big chunk of it was about this, because complaint. All people are doing is whinging. We don't want Charlotte because she's an old star. We don't want her. She's shoved down our throats. We don't want Lacey because she's not ready. She's too fresh. She's not ready for this. So what the fuck do people want? Do they want Charlotte?
They're literally offering us two completely different matches with two completely different sets of superstars. Blonde hair and white skin aside, because that's not like a bad thing to measure people.
I hate when people are like, they're twin... Bitch, like, no. Oh my god, it grinds my gears. It's like, if we did that about anyone else, you'd be like, everyone would be like, oh my god, that's so horrible and, you know, demeaning. And it's like, they're two completely different athletes. They're two completely different characters. They are different people. But regardless, it's everyone the wrestling business thrives off of new. So Lacey Evans is as new as you can get going for a championship. It doesn't necessarily mean she has to win. Doesn't necessarily mean she has to lose. However, this creates a new star, so in 2-3 years' time, Lacey Evans will be looked at in the same regard that Charlotte Flair or Becky Lynch is looked at, in that she can create new stars. That's how the wrestling business evolves. That's how we keep it fresh, how we keep it going. But then you look on the other side of things, and we've never had an end to Charlotte and Becky. This is the end of their rivalry for a little while, and then they can revisit it in a few years, in a year's time, and it's fresh. But we never really had an end to Charlotte and Becky. So this is the end of that chapter. This is the start of a new chapter and a new star. In my mind, I'm going to speak for myself, I'm not going to say we, but in my mind, that's two very decisive, different stories, and two very fresh stories in the terms of where they will lead. So I don't see the overall... What? People don't like this because they don't like Lacey Evans. Well, they don't like Charlotte Flair. To me, Charlotte Flair is probably one of the best workers they have in the entire company at the moment. Just all-round performer. She is a superstar. Man, woman, alien, dog, cat, whatever. She is a superstar. Lacey has the potential of being a superstar, but you don't know until you try. This is trying. I know that I said I wasn't going to rant and get too angry, but I'm just in that zone at the moment where things are pissing me off because no one can seem to enjoy anything.
Let it fly. And the other thing is, when did we decide that we didn't want to see more Becky Charlotte? Like, their matches are always good.
Exactly.
I don't understand what we're complaining about. We're getting one of the hottest feuds of the last year. Finalizing. Coming to an end. Coming to what will be a fitting conclusion, I think. And it's so different from Becky Lacey. Becky Lacey is the story of the unproven, untested young up-and-comer versus the vet. Meanwhile, Becky and Charlotte's a blood rivalry. They're two very different stories. And like I said before, the blonde thing is a bad measuring stick. I hate when people generalize based on the way someone looks, because that's
Isn't that the opposite of what the whole, just in the world of what the women's movement is? That's so inequality, whatever you call it. That is so direct opposite of what I perceive as equality. It doesn't matter the way you look. It doesn't matter your shape, size, stature. It matters who you are as a person. In this case, who you are as a character, how you move in the ring. They do not work similar at all. They're two very different characters as well. That's generalizing women or men. It's not a woman. It's just a people thing. It's generalizing just because you're blonde, tall, athletic, strong, that you're the same person. You are not the same. Yeah. They are not the same person.
I hate to break it to people, but like there are a lot of blonde, athletic people in the company. There's
a lot of blonde, athletic people in the world.
Yeah,
in the world. Look at all the Olympic athletes. Look at all the. There's lots of men that are similar stature and muscle mass that have short brown hair. Do we generalize them? Yeah. No. It's an inequality thing to me.
If you think that the WWE only hired Lacey and Charlotte because they're blonde, you're off the reservation. Lacey had a built-in story coming from the Marines being a mother. That was so easy to snatch up. And Charlotte Flair's hair could have been green and they would have hired her because she's Charlotte Flair.
I don't know. I honestly am enjoying both of the stories, and listen, I was the first one to get on that. As soon as that match of Charlotte and Becky was announced, I was like, okay, I would have liked to see something else. Within 15 minutes, I was tweeting, wait a minute, this is perfect for now. It leaves other things till later, like Bayley and Ember and stuff, and it leaves it a little bit towards SummerSlam and Mania and down the line. This gets this done now because I think Charlotte is going to actually beat Becky. I think Charlotte is going to be a 9-time champ. And I think Becky's going to come over to Raw and work with people like Lacey and Alexa and Ruby and blah, 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 blah. So I think Charlotte winning the SmackDown Championship actually freshens up SmackDown's division because Charlotte can work with people like Ember and Bayley and Mickie James, Liv Morgan. The list goes on.
It splits Becky and Charlotte up, which for right now is the best thing. I agree 100% with your assessment of what's going to happen. I too think it's going to be Becky over Lacey, Charlotte over Becky, and I know that people are also like, why would Becky wrestle 2 matches? But that fits her character so well.
Exactly, because she's that fighting champ. She wants to prove that she's the best worker in the company. She's the man, and that's what Ric Flair did. The Ric Flair of the world would fight everybody. I mean, cheating, but he would fight everyone. He would take on. To beat the man, to be the man, you got to beat the man. So that is what... She's not a man. When people go on about that, she's not a man. There's a difference between being, I'm a man, she's the man. It's not the context of what the word means. It's the actual definition of what the man in wrestling is. For anybody that is still on that bandwagon of that. But nonetheless, I think, to be honest with you, we got 2 very different matches that could be very, very good. Charlotte and Becky is very proven, like you said, to be awesome. They've had awesome matches in the past. And Becky and Lacey is unproven territory. We don't know if that could be awesome. They could have the best match ever, and we don't know.
It's a test for both of them. It's a test to see if Lacey could hang with the stars. Exactly. It's a test to see if Becky could hang wrestling someone outside of Charlotte Flair or Asuka. You know, could she make a star out of Lacey?
Exactly, because Charlotte has proven that she can do that. Charlotte is a worker that can work with anybody. Becky has never really been in that spot other than really working with Alexa. She worked with Alexa when Alexa first came in, and she helped make Alexa what Alexa Bliss is now, a star. If for anyone, I know you didn't catch Raw, Kevin, but Alexa got the biggest reaction out of all of those ladies on Raw. Alexa is a proven superstar.
Oh, yeah. She's a star.
And, you know, everyone is quick to judge Alexa's, I'm putting air quotes up here, in-ring work, but
I think it's fine.
So do I. She's proven time and time again that she can have good matches with a lot of people. And
she's had good matches with Becky, with Bayley. She's had good matches on Raw with the likes of, you know, everyone. It's really most people that are in this match. She's had good matches with Naomi. She's had good matches with Natalya. She could go.
She had good matches with Nia. She's had good matches with Ronda. She's had good matches with Banks. She's had good matches. She's proven, okay, maybe she isn't the best technical wrestler in my opinion, I've ever seen. Sure, there's better. But she has mic work, character work. She is good in the ring. She's flashy. She's got a look. She has it. And she's proven that she's an over commodity and is a star for the company because, I mean, you listen to that reaction on Raw. She is a star. She can make new stars. And Becky is a proven thing of that, and she made Alexa what she is now, or at least helped. That's what we could be saying about Lacey Evans in 2 years, in 3 years, is that Becky helped Lacey get to this next step. It doesn't necessarily mean Lacey has to win. Another thing that I've been noticing lately is that a loss is not a burial. Ricochet, for example, on Raw lost to Baron Corbin on Raw, and everyone was like, Ricochet's getting buried. I don't think people know what that term means, because they had a really decent match, and Ricochet just happened to lose. That to me
if
is
the
not
same
burying.
people won if the same people won all the time, if all of your favorites won, then no one would lose. Someone has to lose. And for storylines to progress, you can't just have it be one-sided. Like, Ricochet can't go out and beat everybody. He's got to lose sometimes, or else he's not going to seem realistic.
Yeah, and I think people are on it because it's Baron Corbin, and it's like, Baron Corbin is a really, really, really good heel. He's a really good heel. And heels have to win sometimes. You can't just have faces win every single... Look at WrestleMania. Sure, it was a feel-good, fantastic WrestleMania. It really did make you feel good. But that being said, we have no journey for any title at the moment because all our favorites got what they wanted. And it makes for pretty just TV because no one's chasing anything. We've got no one to root for. So if that happened all the time, wrestling would get boring really fast. Really fast. So, I mean, that's all I'll say on wins and losses in that regard. But, let's get happy. Because let's talk about the Money in the Bank ladder matches. Because, I mean, well, first let's talk about the Universal Championship match. Because, it is a dream match in WWE land.
Banger of a match on paper.
AJ Styles going for the WWE Championship, the Universal Championship, my apologies, against one Seth Rollins. It's never happened in WWE. It's something that we've waited for a very long time. No doubt that this is going to be a fantastic match. People are already, as soon as that was announced, oh my god, why isn't it happening at SummerSlam? Why isn't it happening at Mania? Who cares? It's happening now. It's going to be great. It's a great main event for the pay-per-view. A great first kind of title defense for Seth. A great spot for AJ. It has so many open door possibilities. I can't really say anything bad about this.
No, this is a match we've all wanted to see for a long time. While AJ was tearing it up, TNA and Rollins was up and coming through the NXT system, getting to where he is now. This is a match that we've all wanted to see, and we're getting it. I don't think we should complain about when we're getting it because we're getting it. Again, that's just another example of people complaining about things that they shouldn't be complaining about. This is a dream match. This is going to be a great match. It's going to be, no matter who wins, the WWE Universe is going to go home happy. And can I just say, it's so refreshing to see a Universal Championship match, A, at all, on a pay-per-view, and B, where Brock Lesnar's name isn't attached to it. The title feels like it was let out of jail.
Yeah, honestly, it really honestly was. I don't really have too much more to say on that, only because I think it's going to be it is going to be a fantastic match.
Yeah, the match will speak for itself.
Yeah. WWE title, I'm equally excited for it. It's Kofi's test to not getting to the mountaintop is one thing. Staying relevant and staying up there is completely different. Just a different ball game. This is Kofi's test to if he can hang. And I think he can. I don't think there's a doubt in my mind that he can. But him and Owens has been, honestly, a pretty good story. I've really, out of everything, I think this has probably been the best told story they have at the moment. It's just flowed really nicely. I don't know where this is heading. I don't know what happens, but I'm expecting a different sort of match than AJ and Rollins. I think it's going to be a little bit more personal, a little bit more aggressive.
Yeah.
Do you think it's going to be fun?
It's more of a traditional story than Rollins Styles, because those two are that's just like a respect-based match. This is a bad guy versus good guy, evil heel Kevin Owens versus purest babyface maybe in the company right now, Kofi Kingston. And I think it's going to be a hell of a lot of fun. It'll be different than Rollins Styles, but it's going to be a lot of fun. You have two dynamic competitors in there that both really want the WWE Championship, the most valuable title, I think, in the world, regardless of whatever. But I think this match is going to be great.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. Again, not really too much more to say about that other than I'm happy for Kofi, and I'm happy that Owens is kind of that first story. Again, I don't know where it leads, but I think it'll be a nice, it'll be popped in the middle of the show, and it'll be a nice rivalry kind of base match. another couple of other matches that are kind of happening is we got Reigns and Elias.
Yeah.
Yep.
Pass.
I'm not
I mean,
really...
it's not to say it won't be a good match. It's just, it's probably the story I like the least because of, Shane's involvement, where this is Shane doing two different things and them trying to like mix and mash. And this whole story I think has been a mess since you've combined storylines with Reigns and Miz and Elias and McMahon. But it could be a good match.
Yep, that's how I feel. It is just a Roman Reigns match on a pay-per-view. It'll get to where it needs to go, I guess. I mean, we talked about Miz and Shane. That's happening in a cage. I guess this is the end to that story because it seems like Shane is probably going to go into stuff with Roman.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know where we're at with that, but
and it's interesting because if Shane is going to move on to Roman, a higher competitor on the ladder than the Miz, does Shane McMahon win this steel cage match?
I mean, does it hurt Shane if he loses? Maybe Roman gets involved, or maybe someone gets involved. Who knows?
It's possible.
I don't know. Regardless, their match at Mania was really good. Actually,
I loved it.
So, no doubt Shane will do something kabuki off of the cage. So it'll probably be a really decent cage match. I feel like cage matches are a little bit restricted because you can't go outside the ring. Everything is in the ring and you just have to learn to use the cage. But I don't know, cage matches are, if they're done properly, they're awesome. And
cage spots, unlike Hell in a Cell spots, it's like you really only have a certain number of things you could do in the cage.
Yeah.
I feel like you can be more creative in a cell or in the chamber, but it's still a good feud. And I think it's the right stipulation for the story being told.
Yeah, I agree. Miz has become a fantastic face. Miz actually has, which is weird to say, and considering it's the Miz, and he's very easily hateable. But he's become a really good face. It's really been a natural kind of turn. It hasn't been forced. It's been very organic.
It's just the way the fans are going.
Yeah,
they actually did listen to the fans and flip Miz accordingly, and it's worked out very well. I like the Miz as a face. I like to root for him, and I like that he's fighting on my side of the table now.
Yeah,
and I think everyone wants to see McMahon go down, so it makes sense that Miz is going to be, the good guy in this
story. Yeah, but I still like that the Miz is still the Miz. He's still a little bit of a jerk, but like in a more fun way. I don't know. He's still the Miz. They haven't taken away the essence of what the Miz is, which is what you want. You just want the same character, but he just doesn't do too many bad guys.
Yeah, he doesn't have to change much. He just has to, fight for the right cause. He could still be the Miz. He could still be the A-lister, and he could still be goofy and kind of a jerk. But as long as he's fighting for the right reasons, people are going to respect him.
I agree completely. Hopefully, I think this is probably the end of the story, and I really do hope so. I think it needs to move on. Miz needs to move on to other things, as does Shane. Now, the other singles match, Samoa Joe, Rey Mysterio for the United States title. There's been a lot of stuff with Rey's son Dominic, and I think this is the match that the build in the match that we were meant for Mania, but because of Rey's injury in that, they didn't really get to do anything, and then they kind of were going to do things with Braun, and then they didn't do things with Braun and Joe, so they got back on this one. I honestly think they can go, Joe and Rey. I think it could be fun. Rey still moves like he's 25 years old, which is crazy to me. And Joe's great. Joe's just a vicious ass kicker, really. Do you think that this was probably what we were meant to get at Mania?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing, as much as this pains me to say, because I love Rey, I wouldn't mind seeing Joe run through him again. Like, real quick, I wouldn't mind that at all. I think that just makes Joe look like such an unstoppable force, and it makes that title so hot.
That's true, and it doesn't hurt Ray because he's Ray. He can lose, win, do anything, and he's still Ray. Rey Mysterio is a person in that stature that he could lose to Joe in 5 seconds at Money in the Bank and then be going for the Universal title the next night, and we wouldn't bat an eye.
Yeah, he's got so much name brand built up.
Yeah.
That he's got so much goodwill and good fortune built up on his side that he's not really affected by losses the way most people are.
Nah, he's earned that. Earned that kind
He's
of thing.
not.
Yeah, he's a legend. Again, honestly, going through all of this match card, we know that most of these matches are probably going to be decent matches. Cruiserweight title is on the line. Tony Nese and Arya Daivari is going at it. I don't really have much to say about Tony Nese because I'm not a huge fan.
I think one thing has become clear. It's that, and again, I like Tony Nese. I think it's become clear that Tony Nese doesn't have the it factor that Buddy Murphy had.
Yeah. Buddy Murphy, that's another thing. Is like, did they just forget
Buddy Murphy was must see.
Yeah.
Every match he was in was like, you have to get to the TV and watch this match. Tony Nese just isn't that kind of guy. I don't think he's got a great character. He's a great wrestler. I just don't know if his character's that great.
He's a heel. He's not a face. He's such a natural heel. That's his problem.
He literally walks out, shows off his abs, flexes like he's a heel. And Daivari's a good. I could see this being a title change, but I just because I don't think they know necessarily what they're doing with the cruiserweights at the moment. I think Nese will retain.
Yeah, me
I like
too.
Mark's work a lot.
Yeah, I think. See, this is why I know I harp on about Mike Kanellis a lot, but he should be in this spot. I think he has a better character. He can use Maria, and I think they could get that title to really matter on a pay-per-view. I do. I honestly do think that, and I know it's a little bit biased because I am a fan of Mike and Maria, but I just think, I don't know. If they really... That's the problem, though. I don't know what they want with the Cruiserweight division. I don't know if it's going to last. I don't know. Who knows? But, to be honest, Nese and Daivari will probably be a fun match.
Yeah, it'll be. Oh, it'll be. The Cruiserweights, it's like almost a rule that the Cruiserweight match is going to be fun. at its really absolute least, it's going to be fun. At its best, it's going to be an incredible match. And who knows what we're going to get.
You know, I agree with that completely. So is that all the other matches other than the Money in the Banks, or am I missing something?
No, you got them all.
Okay.
Ticked all the boxes.
Alright. Money in the Banks. First things first, I want to just say ladder matches. Your opinion may differ from mine, but I have a bit of an opinion on ladder matches. I kind of alluded to it before. Ladder matches are essentially spot. We get that, but I honestly think a ladder match requires more psychology than a regular match, because your ladders are essentially your false finishes. They're your weapon. They're your means of ending the match. So a ladder climb, I like ladder matches. So to me, there's two types of ladder matches. There's the ladder matches that's just spots. Generally what a Money in the Bank ladder match is. Multi-man kind of deal. And then there's ladder matches like Jericho and Michaels, which is very using the ladder in the means of ending the match. It's using the ladder as A, to hurt your opponent, and B, to climb. There's not too much. Sure, you're still going to jump off of it and do crazy stuff. That's just a ladder match. But you're essentially just, that is your forced finish. You work everything around that silver ladder. What in your mind is a ladder match? Is a ladder match to you it should be just spots? Or should it be a psychology-based match where the ladder is your means of ending? Or is it just spots?
It's got to be a mix of both. You need to have you need to have psychology in pretty much every match, or else it's going to be a track meet. So you got to have some sort of psychology in there, and even in spot fests, you still have to incapacitate all your opponents long enough. You have to be smart in there, and you have to know you have to take out 7 different people before you can even think about getting that contract. So there's definitely a psychology involved. I think you put it very well. I can't really say it much better than how you put it. But I mean, I love spot fests. I'm not going to complain if this one is. But with the mix of people we have here, with your high flyers like Andrade, Andrade maybe not a high flyer, but he could do a double moonsault, so it's pretty cool. Ali, high flyer, Ricochet, and then you have guys like Zayn and McIntyre and Corbin, the bad guys, and Orton, who could tell a story in there, especially Randy Orton, could just tell a story in there like no other. I think we're gonna get a nice. I think this men's Money in the Bank match is set up to be really good.
Yeah. Or honestly, by the way, not going to get into it too much, but Randy Orton is a very underrated, underappreciated performer in terms of story and just solid. He's very solid. But yeah, I think it does need a mix, and I think that sometimes Money in the Bank ladder matches turn into just spots for no reason. There needs to be a reason behind you doing anything in a wrestling ring, in my opinion. But
yes.
I do really think there is a good group of guys in the men's Money in the Bank ladder match to really, really, really be really good. I am glad that Braun's out, because Braun was the one that I didn't want to win. I just didn't want him to win the thing.
He's not a fit. He's not a good fit in the ladder matches. He can't do big spots. He could be on the giving end of big spots, but like, he just isn't a fit for the briefcase. Because at this time last year, we thought he would get a world championship match without help from Money in the Bank. Then that got squandered. Now he doesn't feel like a viable option to be a world championship contender.
Yeah. I'm glad that... I think I'm more happy that Sami Zayn is in the match now. Because he's been doing... he's just a jerk-off. I love him. He's great. He's great. He really is. He's what
such a jerk off. I love him.
He is. I love just absolute. Hey, is this a word that you've heard before? Of Australian term, a flog. He's a flog.
I feel like I've heard that, but I probably wouldn't have known.
You know what a wanker is?
Wanker. I know what a wanker is. Yes.
Yeah, they're basically like he's a wanker. He is.
He's a douchebag.
He is. He's an absolute douchebag. I love him to bits. I want to be Sami Zayn.
He is doing some just next level character work since he's been back, and he could obviously go in the ring. We all know that. We saw it with that match he had with Finn Balor a couple weeks back. When his first night back, that was a great match. And
Sami's great.
He even works good like in the ring as a heel, which I mean, obviously I think he's better. Although it's tough to tell now. I think I prefer him as like the underdog babyface because his in-ring work reflects that. But his mic work as a heel is so much better.
Oh my god, his character stuff is just great. The way he runs out in an entrance is just like gyrating and like just moving around. Oh my god, I want to marry that man sometimes. I'm so envious of him. I just want to be him as a human being. My god. But I'm glad he's in. And that group of guys, like we've been stating, is just out of this world. I'll get you a prediction on it. Who's winning?
I'm sticking with what I've been saying for a couple weeks now. It's got to be Andrade. He's the biggest candidate right now. He's literally that guy who's on the periphery of the main event scene. He's upper mid-card. He's too talented for the mid-card. He is like the prototype for a Money in the Bank winner. Someone they want to jump to the next level. I could see him winning. I could see McIntyre winning.
So you think Andrade will win? Who do you want to win?
I want Andrade to win too.
Okay, so you're on the Andrade bandwagon then, I'd say.
Yes, I am driving the Andrade train. Chugga chugga choo choo.
Okay, so mine differs. I want Andrade to win. I think Sami Zayn will win.
I like that. I was thinking about that too.
Don't get me wrong. Sami's great. He would probably be my second choice, but I really feel like I want Andrade to win, but I think Sami's going to do it. I think he's going to just be a dastardly jerk-off heel and win. That's my take. Women's Money in the Bank ladder match is a little different. It has potential to be great, but it's a very strange group of girls. I like that it's different because there's some different faces in there that get to shine. but it is a very different group of girls, in my opinion. The mix of them, just there's a few, I hate this word now, but there's a few wild cards in there. We've seen on Raw this week what I think the talk of the town at the moment is the fact that Dana Brooke is in there. And Dana, I don't know, there's something about Dana that she makes me want to root for her. I want.
She's the hardest worker in the division. I've seen that. I've seen that sentiment echoed multiple times, and she is an absolute hard worker.
You can just
and
tell
they make me fit to reward that.
Yeah, you can tell that she doesn't take opportunities lightly at all. Every time she's in that ring, she goes, "This I'm wrestling like it's WrestleMania," and that's a good thing. That's what you want out of your performers. You want them to be the best of their abilities. Now, in this match, do you find it harder to call than the other? Because I do. Because
yes,
it can go
I can make an argument for 6 of the 8 women in this match, maybe 5.
Okay,
but
so
still,
we'll go with we won't say who you want, but who do you predict's going to win this one on this weekend?
This one's tough. I think Mandy Rose is going to win.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm on the same bandwagon as you. I think it's going to be Mandy. Want is a different kind of take. Who do you want to win this match?
Easy. I've probably been the most vocal Ember Moon fan in the world since she's come back. I don't want her to win. I need her to win.
Yeah. I don't want Ember to win. I'm pulling for Bayley. I'm wanting a Bayley win. I think Bayley is on the cusp. I think her winning Money in the Bank could really put Bayley in that upper mid, that main. I really think we're here for Bayley. But again, to be honest, I wouldn't mind if Dana won. I wouldn't mind seeing Mandy Rose win. I don't really want to see someone like Bliss win. I don't hate Bliss.
Bliss is like the one person that I think has no shot.
Really?
I don't think Bliss has a shot. No.
Oh. See, I do. I could see Bliss, it.
I don't think Carmella. Everyone else, I say is in play.
You think Natty?
Yes.
Oh, that's I don't know. Natty's one I can't see winning.
For a career achievement, if nothing more.
True. I can get behind that. Bliss, I always think is just someone that could win. Because she's been out. That's a
testament to how well she's done in the past.
True.
Honestly, she's a 5-time women's champion for a reason. She knows how to win in big matches.
That is true. I don't know, but again,
that one is hard to pick.
It's hard to pick. Now the girls can deliver, but do you think this 8-woman match, these 8 ladies, do you think that this could be a really good ladder match? Because I don't know. Some of them are a bit unproven.
I don't think it's going to be a one that we talk about for years to come. I don't see anybody besides Ember and maybe Dana, because she's making the most for her opportunities. I don't see a lot of big spots in this match.
You don't see Naomi?
Naomi, I could see Naomi doing something crazy.
Yeah.
And Ember maybe, Dana maybe, but I just don't feel like this one has like the big spot potential that the other one has, and that as much as we could talk about in-ring psychology in a ladder match, I think for most people the spots make the match. So I have a feeling this one might not be as well received. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I pray to God I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But that's kind of like my take on it right now.
Yeah, I think this match opens the show. I think this goes on first. I think the benefit of a hot crowd will help this match a lot. I do think the girls will put on a good show. It's just, I do think the other ladder match will probably be better. But again, I hope I'm wrong. I hope they both just outdo me. I hope they both just exceed my expectations. But that's really all that there is to talk about with Money in the Bank. Excited? Yes. Hopeful? Yes. desperately needs to be amazing. Also, yes, it has to deliver. I think it will. I think we're going to have a nice show. Where is it? Where is
Hartford, Connecticut.
Yes, Connecticut. Right. I don't recall. Do pay-per-views go often to Hartford, Connecticut?
I couldn't tell you the last time a pay-per-view went to Hartford. I don't know if. I mean, I generally don't pay too much attention to where pay-per-views are unless they're in like Chicago or WrestleMania-esque pay-per-views.
Yeah.
But I can't remember a pay-per-view that's been in Hartford in a long time.
Yeah, who knows? Nonetheless, it should be fun. I apologize for my take on things at the moment. I'm not trying to be as sour as I am, but I mean, it is what it is at the moment. This is the beauty of having this show, is that I get to just kind of let loose, and Kevin just puts up with me.
Yes. That's my job.
It's not a usual thing for me. I'm not usually like this. I'm hopeful. I'm excited. I don't know if it's resonating with you, Kevin, or anyone listening, but I am hopeful.
No, it is.
And I do want it to be really, really good. It's just, I have my gripes, and I have my gripes with some people within the community that just don't want it to succeed. I want it to succeed desperately. But just briefly, of course, I mentioned before, All Elite Week next week on Brainbuster Radio. Every single show will be focusing on AEW. We're going to do a little bit that I talked about before, where the AEW is going to impact a wrestling kind of boom within the world. Just briefly, Kev, without going into too much detail, are you excited, A, for AEW just to get off its feet so we can see what it's like, so we can enter the unknown? And what is your take on All Elite Week for Brainbuster Radio next week?
Well, I think that I'm excited for AEW. I'm excited for Double or Nothing. I really think that, not spoiler alert, make sure you listen in next week, but I think this is going to make a huge boom. It's going to make a huge wave. I'll go more into detail with that, of course, next week on Brainbuster Radio. But I'm excited. I forgot the second part of that question.
It was excited for All Elite Week next week on Brainbuster Radio.
Of course I am. Of course how could I forget that? Silly old me. Yeah, I'm excited for AEW Week, for All Elite Week, because we're an elite group of podcasts. We're all elite, quote unquote. Mm-hmm. And we're going to deliver so many different things. We have previews, we got predictions, we've got fantasy booking, AEW style. We got a whole bunch of stuff. We offer so many different things here. That's the beauty of Brainbuster Radio, is that every show is different.
Yeah, and just briefly as we're ending out this episode, we were on Omega Luke's show this past week, and spoiler alert if you haven't listened to Luke's show this week, we didn't win, but nonetheless,
tough to see. But you know what?
Luke said himself, we did well. He just liked the other story a little better, and so did I. So it's fine. We pick ourselves up and we go on to the next one.
Tim's is good. Yeah, you know what? We'll be back. We'll be back to get the crown back.
Oh yeah, we ain't. If we're going down, we're going down with a super hard fight. But yeah, those things are fun to do. It's a lot of time off. For anyone that doesn't know, I spend hours on those things. Kevin's just like, yep, let's do it. I'm like, Kev's got it, he knows. And then Kev, with his beautiful, beautiful fantasy booking voice that just drives us home, it's perfect for that.
I love bringing out the fantasy booking voice, getting real serious and really into what I'm reading.
Kevin's good at that.
It is. I just flip a switch and I go.
Kevin, I don't even have to tell Kevin. He just goes with it. And also, thank you to everyone for the love and support of the first 2 weeks of diving in with Josh. It has been a different experience.
The show has been so good. Especially, like, nothing against the first episode, because the first episode was very good, too, with Wilf. But, man, Kurt's story was just... it resonates with me as someone who's dealt with similar things.
Yes.
I know a lot of us have, but it definitely hit home with me. And that's what this show, I think, is about, is, hitting home with people.
Yeah.
The way wrestling sometimes doesn't.
Yeah.
This is a life show. About life
it's very different. It is a very different take, and I've recorded a bunch of stuff with a bunch of different people, and every story, every topic that we talk about is so different and versatile, and there's just a lot of good stuff coming up. It is really just a different experience that I'm really enjoying, and I just the praise shouldn't go to me for this story. It's the people that are coming on this show that are telling their stories, because they're the ones that are being open and honest about things. Kurt was just recording that. I recorded that a few weeks ago, and my God, I had to tell myself I better talk in a minute because people aren't going to think I'm here, because I was just trying to enjoy that journey. I don't pre-screen any chat on diving in and stuff like that, so there's a lot of cool stuff in the works, and I just want to thank everyone for listening. And if you haven't listened to the first 2 episodes, please go and do. Just search for Diving In with Josh wherever you find podcasts, or just go to my Twitter, JoshRobinson00, and you'll find all the links you need to find for that. But yeah, we will catch you next week for All Elite Week with our show. We hope you enjoy Money in the Bank. Please watch it with an open mind. Kevin, anything you want to lead us out on?
Just gonna echo what you said. We got a big week coming up next week, so make sure you're tuned in, not just to us, but to all the shows here on Brainbuster Radio. It's gonna be big. It's gonna be fantastic. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be any superlative that you could think of. We're gonna nail it.
Yeah, agreed completely. Catch you guys next week. Peace out.
Hey everybody, Big Paul's on Up JPQ from No Particular Angle, and this is the Wrestling Reverb on Brainbuster Radio.